Imagine the board is set, the pieces are moving, and the clock is just ticking down. It is June 3, 2026. We are exactly 4 days away from the presidential election of Real Madrid.
And the tension is, it is suffocating.
Completely. On one side, you have the incumbent Florentino Perez, a man who has basically shaped the modern architecture of European football. And on the other side, RIQUELME, this aggressive challenger who is just leveraging nostalgia, primetime television, and a promise to completely upend the status quo.
Right, because it is the ultimate collision of philosophies. An election at this level, it isn't just about counting ballots,
Yeah.
It forces immediate, massive structural transformations.
Yeah, the campaign trail literally becomes a battlefield.
Exactly. A battlefield where €100 million decisions are being made in real time, just to capture the narrative for the weekend.
And we have the internal knowledge to map out that exact battlefield. Today, we are looking at lockdown strategy briefs, leaked financial blueprints, and insider tactical reports from both camps. Our mission with this deep dive is to cut through all the campaign noise and unpack the precise mechanics of how this election is reshaping Real Madrid, literally from the boardroom down to the pitch. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Look, to understand the promises being made for the future, you have to look at the concrete actions happening right now, today. Because Florentino Perez, he isn't treating this week like a normal campaign.
No, not at all.
He is treating it like a transfer window on fast forward.
Yeah.
It is aggressive.
It's extremely aggressive because the first major domino is in the dugout.
No.
Our internal briefs show Florentino has practically secured José Mourinho's return as manager.
Which is massive.
Right. But bringing in Mourinho means you have to fundamentally alter the DNA of the squad to fit his highly specific, demanding style. Based on the strategy documents we have, 2 major defensive signings are already locked in.
They are building a fortress for him. Because Mourinho's system, it relies entirely on physical dominance and, suffering without the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't want projects in his backline, He wants finished products.
Yeah.
Men who have been to war.
So let's look at the profiles here. First, DENZEL Dumfries from Inter Milan. He is 30 years old, and Madrid is triggering his €20 million release clause.
Boom. Done.
Exactly. He provides this immense physical presence on the right flank, specifically brought in to compete with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Who, let's be honest, has been struggling heavily to stay fit.
Right.
Dumfries gives you immediate tactical rigidity. If Alexander-Arnold is the offensive fulcrum, Dumfries is the blunt instrument you deploy in a grueling, rainy away match in the Champions League.
A total battering ram. And then you have the center of the defense. IBRAHIMA KONATÉ is arriving as a free agent from Liverpool.
Massive signing.
He is 27. But while there is no transfer fee, the internal financials show he is demanding a €20 million signing bonus and a salary in the range of €12 million net.
That is heavy.
It is. He fills the void left by David Alaba's departure, sure. And more importantly, he offers insurance against the chronic injury issues surrounding Eder Militao and Antonio Rudiger.
Well, what's fascinating here is the ideological pivot. For the better part of a decade, Real Madrid's transfer policy was an unquestionable dogma, right?
Yeah, by young.
Exactly. By the best 18 to 21-year-old talent in the world, develop them and secure the next decade. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Camavinga.
Right.
But Mourinho's arrival, combined with the extreme pressure of this election, it dictates a complete pivot away from that dogma. They are buying 30-year-olds and 27-year-olds with battle scars. They are buying the present.
But wait. I have to push back on the wisdom of that pivot, though. I really do.
Go ahead.
When you bring in a 30-year-old like Dumfries and give a massive $12 million net salary to Konaté, you are drastically altering your wage structure for depreciating assets.
Sure, from a purely financial standpoint.
It's like buying a sturdy pre-owned truck instead of a flashy sports car concept. So is this an admission from the current board that the previous strategy of relying entirely on youth prospects and injury-prone stars completely failed? Or is this just a pragmatic necessity to give Mourinho the specific tools he needs to survive a grueling 70-game season?
Look, it leans heavily toward the latter.
Right.
The 70-game calendar completely changes the math on squad building. You just can no longer rely on a thin rotation of elite youngsters and aging veterans.
You need bodies.
You need absolute physical specimens. Mourinho looked at the injury records of Militao and Rudiger and recognized a structural flaw. You need players who can absorb minutes. Dumfries and Konaté, they are monsters. It is a harsh reality check that a ceiling of glass needs a foundation of concrete.
But concrete doesn't win an election at the Bernabeu.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
You can't put a defensive rotation player on a campaign poster and expect the voters to be galvanized.
Right, the socios, they want glitter.
They demand a Galactico. To win the presidency, you need to command the center of the pitch.
The engine room is where the political capital is truly spent. Always has been.
So here's the play. Florentino has publicly promised to announce a massive superstar signing this Thursday, deliberately timed to overshadow Riquelme's final campaign push.
It's ruthless timing.
It is, and the internal knowledge points overwhelmingly to Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea,
Huge.
with his Argentine teammate Alexis McAllister as the backup plan. We are looking at a 120 million euro investment here.
I mean, the tactical reasoning here is undeniably sound. Since Toni Kroos and Luka Modric stepped back from their prime orchestrator roles, Real Madrid has transitioned into a team of incredible athletes.
Track stars almost.
Right. Fede Valverde, Aurelien Tchouameni, Eduardo Camavinga, they're transition monsters. But in matches where the opponent sits deep in a low block, Madrid has lacked a true metronome.
Someone to dictate the pace.
Exactly. Enzo Fernandez provides that specific elite passing range to dictate tempo and connect the defense to the attack. He is the glue.
Okay, I see the tactical fit, but let's look at the sheer volume of players in that dressing room.
It's crowded.
The midfield is already overflowing. You've got Jude Bellingham, Valverde, Tchouameni, Camavinga. Adding Enzo feels like wiring an entirely new massive generator into an electrical grid that is already operating at maximum capacity.
You're going to blow a fuse.
Exactly. If you don't route the power correctly, the whole thing shorts out. Doesn't bringing in a 120 million euro player who expects to start every single game completely suffocate the development of younger talents like Arda Güler or Nico Paz? I mean, it's like hiring a 5th Michelin star chef for one single kitchen.
Yeah, that is the collateral damage of election year squad building.
Yeah.
You are absolutely stunting the minutes of a player like Güler.
So why do it?
Because an election operates on a timeline of days, not years. You cannot win Sunday's vote by promising the socios that Nico Paz will be world-class in 2028.
Fair point.
You win it by parading a World Cup winner in front of the cameras on Thursday.
And the grid can't hold all that power financially either.
Oh, no way. The math doesn't work.
The internal briefs imply that signing Enzo triggers a massive necessary sacrifice just to balance the books and clear the locker room. We are looking at potentially selling Aurelien Tchouameni to Manchester United.
For, what, 100 million?
Around 100 million euros, yes.
That is the ruthless calculus of modern football finance. If you bring in 120 million euros of amortization on the books, you need to offset it instantly.
Right.
And Tchouameni holds immense market value. Selling him covers the Enzo transfer and clears a literal physical spot in the starting 11.
Right.
It is a high-stakes trade-off, man. You are sacrificing a beloved defensive anchor for a premier orchestrator.
It's wild. And while Florentino is moving these 100 million euro pieces across the board to secure the present, his challenger, Enrique Riquelme, is operating a completely different, totally asymmetrical campaign.
He is playing a completely different game.
Because he can't outspend the incumbent, so he is weaponizing the past.
Riquelme's strategy is fascinating to watch. He is attacking the emotional vulnerabilities of the voting base.
Let's break down his playbook from the internal documents. Riquelme has announced club legends to legitimize his ticket. He named Raúl González Blanco as his future sporting director.
Heavy hitter.
And Fernando Hierro as the director of La Fábrica, the youth academy.
Another icon.
He also claims to have Manchester City's Rodri locked in as his own superstar signing.
Which is a bold claim.
Very bold. But the real spectacle is happening off the pitch. To combat accusations that his promises are just hollow words, Riquelme is scheduled to appear on the primetime talk show El Hormiguero tonight.
Primetime TV.
And he is bringing a literal notary with him.
Live television and a notary. I mean, it's pure legal theater.
He plans to sign legally binding documents on air, guaranteeing his superstar signing, heavily rumored internally to be Erling Haaland, though I will say the strategy brief suggests very high skepticism on that specific name.
Look, the name almost doesn't matter. The theater does.
You think so?
Absolutely. Riquelme understands Florentino's historical weak points. The current board has occasionally struggled to manage the exits of club legends. I mean, let's be real. Raúl and Hierro did not leave under fairy tale circumstances.
No, they did not.
By bringing them into the fold, Riquelme is capturing a demographic of socios who vote based purely on romanticism and loyalty to the crest.
But let's critically examine the Raúl appointment for a second. I understand the emotional appeal, sure, but managing a youth academy or coaching a reserve team is fundamentally different from sitting at a table with Premier League executives to negotiate a €100 million transfer.
Oh, completely different skill set.
So is putting Raúl in a suit as sporting director just a strategic PR shield for RIQUELME?
Yes. It is entirely a PR shield, but a highly effective one. In political warfare, perception heavily outweighs operational reality.
Right.
If you put Raúl on your ticket, you insulate yourself from criticism. Who is going to publicly attack Raúl?
Nobody in Madrid, that's for sure.
Exactly. Riquelme doesn't need Raúl to execute a complex transfer negotiation tomorrow morning. He needs Raúl to legitimize the ballot on Sunday. The notary stunt serves the exact same purpose.
Just creating an image.
Right. It attacks the incumbent's credibility by creating this grand illusion of absolute, legally binding transparency.
Which brings us perfectly to the actual mechanisms of transparency and power. Because while the public is completely focused on late-night TV stunts and midfield transfers, the real battle for the future of Real Madrid is happening in the dense thicket of corporate law and institutional politics.
This is the stuff that actually changes the club's destiny. If we connect this to the broader landscape of European football, the structural moves happening in the background dwarfs the player transfers in terms of long-term consequence.
Let's walk the listener through the financial architecture Florentino is trying to build here. According to the internal documents, he is attempting a maneuver to sell a 5% stake of a new commercial entity directly to the socios, the club members.
Right, and this is a complex workaround to a fundamental problem.
Break it down.
Real Madrid is a registered nonprofit owned by its members. They cannot legally sell shares of the club itself to private equity without entirely losing their identity and violating their own statutes.
Right, so the mechanism here is crucial to understand. They are carving out a separate subsidiary commercial entity, likely managing stadium revenue, merchandising, digital rights, that kind of thing, and selling 5% of that specific company to the fans.
Yes.
This allows them to generate a massive injection of liquid capital. But legally, because the parent club remains a nonprofit, the fans buying this 5% stake cannot actually receive direct dividends from the club's sporting profits.
So it functions as an elaborate crowdfunding mechanism wrapped in the romantic language of ownership.
A Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Exactly.
You get the ticket, you get into the factory, but the lawyers tell you that you aren't actually allowed to eat any of the chocolate.
That is the perfect analogy. Because Florentino's core objective for years has been to future-proof the club against state-owned teams that have infinite sovereign wealth. He needs capital, desperately. By framing it as giving power back to the socios, he achieves two things simultaneously. He raises the necessary funds to compete with Premier League budgets, and he solidifies his political support by making the fans feel like mercantile owners.
I understand the capital necessity, I really do, but I question the value proposition for the individual fan. You are buying a piece of a commercial entity, but the structural reality prevents you from seeing a real return on that investment. It raises a critical question about the nature of this entire election. Is this maneuver actually democratizing the club's finances, or is it a brilliantly orchestrated capital raise timed perfectly to secure votes as a smokescreen?
It is a capital raise, undeniably. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
But the genius of the political operator is aligning the club's financial survival with the voters' desire for participation.
And while that financial restructuring is happening on one front, a massive geopolitical earthquake is developing on another.
This is where it gets incredibly intense.
And we need to be incredibly precise and impartial here, strictly reporting what the internal briefs detail about a highly sensitive investigation currently at UEFA and FIFA. We are just looking at the documents.
Right. The Pelicano 2.0 dossier. This is where institutional politics become outright aggressive.
The dossier outlines a sequence of events regarding the Spanish Football Federation, the RFEF. Here are the mechanics of what is being investigated internally. From 1994 to 2018, Barcelona made payments totaling €8.4 million to the referee vice president, José María Enríquez Negreira.
Right, and the payments stopped in 2018 when Negreira left his position.
The dossier then highlights a highly specific administrative action. In June 2021, the RFEF irregularly changed its ethical code. They reduced the statute of limitations for corruption from 10 years down to just 3 years.
This is where the mass becomes the focal point of the entire dossier. Look at the dates.
Exactly. 3 years after the final payment in June 2018 brings you exactly to June 2021. The very moment the RFEF changed the statute to 3 years, the window to impose sporting sanctions on Barcelona effectively closed. The dossier, which our internal knowledge shows Florentino is pushing aggressively behind the scenes at the highest levels of European football, lays out this timeline to suggest the rule change shielded a historic rival from consequences.
And the timing of pushing this dossier right now is absolutely no coincidence.
It's an election weapon.
It's an election weapon. But Florentino is also operating on a massive geopolitical level. With the 2030 World Cup in Spain approaching, the battle for influence at UEFA and FIFA is paramount. By elevating this dossier, he applies immense pressure on the federation and weakens a domestic rival structurally.
It is a simultaneous multi-front campaign. He is fundamentally altering the corporate structure to fight state-owned clubs financially while utilizing legal dossiers to wage institutional warfare at the same time. The scale of these maneuvers makes the debate over who plays right back seem almost trivial.
Trivial? Sure. But the socios vote on all of it. They vote on the 5% commercial stake, they vote on the institutional strength, and they vote on the €120 million midfielder.
So let's bring the entire board into view for you, the listener. A single democratic election is acting as a catalyst for immediate, massive transformation.
Total upheaval.
We are looking at the imminent return of José Mourinho, demanding a rapid shift away from youth development toward battle-tested veterans like Dumfries and KONATÉ. We are tracking a €120 million midfield arms race that could force the sale of a foundational piece like Tchouaméni.
Right.
We are watching an asymmetrical campaign from RIQUELME utilizing club legends and live television notaries to weaponize nostalgia. And beneath the surface of all that, we are seeing complex subsidiary structures and explosive legal dossiers fundamentally redefining the club's power dynamics.
It perfectly illustrates how intense existential competition accelerates innovation and forces ruthless decision-making. I mean, you just do not have the luxury of patience when the presidency is on the line. You have to act now.
Exactly. Whether you are running a multinational corporation, managing a team, or just observing the sheer theater of this election, the mechanics of how power is captured and maintained here are just fascinating. But if we step back from the frenzy of Thursday announcements and Sunday ballots, a massive contradiction is brewing.
Oh yeah, the storm that arrives after the confetti is cleared.
Because if Florentino Pérez wins, he will have to execute all of these aggressive win-now maneuvers, bringing in Mourinho, inserting 30-year-old physical enforcers into the defense, and dropping a massive orchestrator into an already crowded midfield.
Which leads to the ultimate question.
Lay it out.
What happens when this uncompromising, veteran-heavy tactical setup completely clashes with the young, dynamic, free-flowing core that has been told for years that they are the future of Real Madrid?
It's a powder keg.
You have a locker room of young thoroughbreds suddenly being managed by a coach who relies on suffering and strict discipline. Does winning this election, by abandoning the club's patient, youth-focused identity, actually plant the seeds for Real Madrid's next great catastrophic crisis?
That is the €120 million question, because when the polls close on Sunday, the real battle inside the dressing room begins. We will leave you to ponder that. Until next time, keep your eyes on the board.